Here we go then, lights on, fast laps, foot flat to the floor. It's time for qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Welcome along to the 2022 season. Testing's finished, practice is done with. Now we go driving for real. It's a qualifying hour ahead of us, 3 sessions as per usual, around this 3.36 mile circuit, 15 corners, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, 3 DRS zones to help the drivers to a speed of about 199 miles an hour as a top speed along the main straight, along the straight to turn 11 and up to turn 4 as well. That's where you can use your DRS. Elevation changes of about 15 metres, your lap distance at full throttle for 74%. And here are the tyre compounds on the bigger wheels for 2022. C3 is the soft, C2 is the medium, C1 is the hard. The pressure is now being piled upon the drivers to see who can snatch the first pole position of the season. Almost time for the talking to stop, but not here in the commentary box. Martin and I have got plenty to say between now and Abu Dhabi. So is it Red Bull? Is it Ferrari?
Try that now.
Welcome in, race fans. This is Inters Racing League. Tier 4, Round 7 here at the Bahrain International Circuit. Clear skies, packed stands, and a shout out to all our Twitch fans. Last week, Trenner and the Aston Martin held on from a fast finishing McLaren to take the victory. Bridgie P2 and Beefy collected another podium for the Flying Ferraris. At the top of the table, Santa, Trenner and the Alpine duo of Cake and Cuds battle it out, while we see a very close contest from P5 down to P9 being separated by just 13 points. A little further down the standings, the rivalry of Season 4 rages on, with Williams driver and Inters resident Wayne Morris getting the better of his counterpart SJ last week in Singapore, now both locked together with 25 points apiece. Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome in my co-commentator here in Sky Race Control for this evening, T8 Unit, the owner of F1 Racing. Thanks for joining us tonight, legend. How are you feeling ahead of the race, and what will you be looking forward to tonight?
Yes, thank you, Bryce. Said it's great to be here in the Inters Racing League Sky Race Control this evening for some beautiful racing around the Bahrain International Circuit for Tier 4 on a Friday night. I'm looking forward to this race. Of course, I'm going to be a little bit biased and go for my Red Bull outfit for Aussie Powers and A-Dog 92, but yeah, look, Trenner and Alain Sanders appear to be the ones to beat in this championship fight 7 weeks into the season, as we've just seen my teammate of Powers actually invalidate his lap. But yeah, look, I'm excited for this. It's my first time in a long while being in the into the Sky Commons box, so it's good to be here.
Yeah, mate, it's great to have you back in, actually. It's been a while since we've been together in here, and as you said, you getting back into Sky Race Control, yeah, we welcome you with open arms, as always. You're a fantastic commentator and a great driver, and one of the best we have in our community in all the leagues, so thanks again, T8. You're right about that battle at the top of the table. Trenner and Santa are really going at it. Of course, we'd be mistaken if we didn't mention Quiet Cake and Cuds, both the Alpine drivers battling it out, and Beefy there in P5 overall in the Ferrari. Just want to mention, normally we have the commentators of Tetris and Ducat in here. Tetris is feeling really unwell, so if you feel like it, send him a message and let him know that you're thinking about him and hope he gets better soon. And Ducat is actually on business overseas in Philadelphia at the moment, so they'll be back on next weekend, I'm sure, and Tetris is hopefully well enough to race tomorrow. Who are we on board with at the moment?
I was actually just sitting on with current fastest driver out on track at the moment, which is Alain Santa, who's P2 in the championship in the AlphaTauri. But I'll have a quick cycle down the order, see who we can find on a hot lap. I believe we've got a McLaren coming around the last corner at SJ the 1, so we'll see what he can pop in. He comes across the line, he slots up into P10 with a 1 minute 31.1, but he quickly gets snubbed by, who was that? I believe that might have been, not my Wilds in the Ferrari, it was a Wilds.
F1 original Paulie?
I think it was Wilds, but yeah, Original's up there as well. But yeah, just quickly touch on Wilds. He's been missing in the racing scene for quite some time now. I'm used to seeing his name quite regularly, but look, it's good to have him back in Inters. Hopefully we can see him in a few of the leagues and on track more regularly.
Yeah, he's definitely been missing from a few leagues recently, so it is good to see his name back out there on the grid. Look, we'll just go over the reserves while we're at it. We've just mentioned those Ferraris, so we're missing both the full-time drivers in the Ferrari tonight. Beefy is in P5 overall, he's missing, and Ethimon, who's actually had a really good season, he's missing tonight. So we have F1 Original, he's in the Ferrari, and not Wilds, as we just mentioned, who's doing a great job there in P4 at the moment with the 129.5.
Car around at turn 13 at Swiss Lord in the AlphaTauri. I believe he's a mate of Alain Santa, so it's only fitting that they're teammates here this evening. But no, he's not off to a good start as he's just found the wall. It's very easy to go off that corner. You just a little bit too much power, or you hit that inside curve, and there's really no coming back from that. So hopefully he hasn't got too much damage on that car and he can get back out there for another lap. But as you were saying, Joey.
Oh yeah, you're right, man. That turn 11 is a tricky one. It catches me out probably more often than not when I'm really trying to put my foot down. So yeah, just we have a mortal racer in the Mercedes and Skid Peak. Both full-time drivers from the Mercedes are missing tonight, being replaced by Rusted Cyborg.
And again, sorry to cut you off. I've just gone on board with Jenneth Lee, and he's gone spinning around at turn 3. He's lucky to keep it off the wall, but I think he might even be beached in the gravel there.
Oh no!
Looks like this isn't good for the Haas.
It's not. It's not. He's just been recently signed too, T8. This is his second race as a full-time driver for Haas under team principal Jacko. And yeah, you've called it there. So that's unlucky for the young man from Hong Kong. He does a great job in comms too, and is always looking to help out Inters. So shout out to you, Jenneth. Unfortunate there. So just getting back to that last reserve, it's Juice is replacing Skittle Peak in the Mercedes, and like I said, Rusted Cyborg is replacing a mortal racer who's missing tonight. In the Alfa Romeo, we're missing Jesse, aka Parzavol, and Ersko is actually in, and I don't know anything about Ersko. Can you tell us anything about this driver, T8?
Yeah, I think Ersko's a bit new to a few of the leagues. I've seen his name pop up around the likes of DRS and F1, not to mention. He's slowly finding his form, picking up the pace each and every week and improving his race quality. So yeah, it's good to see more people coming up through the rankings, and I'm sure Ersko, if he can just keep his cool together, could put on a really good result for Alfa Romeo tonight.
No doubt about it. Alright, let's just have a look and see who's heading around on an out lap at the moment. Looks like Ersko might be just finishing his hot lap, so we'll just grab on board with him for a sec and see what kind of time he puts on the board.
There goes P17 there.
Yep, so that's not a bad banker from him. He's not far off the pace from Rusted Cyborg at all, so just to shave off a few tenths there and he might be able to move up into P15, something like that. So just out of the way of the Aston Martin there. Is that one going around?
We've got Original Paulie just about to start a hot lap.
Alright, let's get on with
the last corner now.
Get on with Original Paulie and see how he goes. Now, I can tell you a little bit about Original Paulie. I actually signed him to my Tier 4 full-time driver seat as he did really well in the pre-season and really impressed a lot of TPs, so I snatched him up when I could. Had a pretty good start to the year. He was getting consistent points, but found himself in a little bit of trouble with some other drivers on the grid, and just wasn't happy with the overall racecraft and decided to pack it in. And yeah, so it's good to see him actually returning. And he's after a full-time seat again, so any TPs out there, F1 Paulie is back and he's looking to be signed again full-time, so he'll be looking to impress as much as he can here. He just goes into turn 9. You want to get a nice good exit out of here and not too heavy on the throttle, because you will turn it around and end up in the wall there. It's a tricky one as he approaches turn 10 now. This is probably one of the hardest corners on the circuit. He looks like he got that one very nicely. Nice exit, not too much curve there, and he's going to be approaching turn 11 as he comes around. This is the tricky one. This is where I think we saw, oh, that's a nice entry. It's the apex. Holding that very nicely, isn't he, T8? As he goes around turn 12, this is the one where you want to put it flat to the floor all the way around.
It's looking good here from Paulie. Got a bit of traffic up here. That has to be teammate, in fact. Yeah, he's moved out of the way, luckily for him. Might have even given him a nice little slipstream down the back straight. We'll see what he can pull off. He's P9. I'm expecting him to go up a few bits on the leaderboard here, but where does he go? He goes up to P8, so it's better than nothing, 29.9. So well done to Paulie. That puts him up into the the fourth row of the grid.
Yeah, nice one. That's yeah, he's just snuck under the 130. So yeah, of course improving, and you'd be happy with that any time out in qualifying.
Santa now goes into the 129.1, so he's found even more time in that AlphaTauri, and Treno will get a little bit concerned. He's yet to set a time, his championship rival. Ooh. So yeah, Treno's gonna have to get a lap done soon, and he's gonna have to hope that it's quicker than what Santa's done so far, because he's 3/10 quicker than P2 of Duchamel. So Santa looking rapid here tonight in Bahrain.
He's looking rapid, and I'll give you some insight. Me being the team principal at AlphaTauri, Santa's taking no prisoners tonight. He's a man on a mission, and you don't want to upset the Swiss. Well, they're known to be neutral, but I tell you, if you get on this man's bad side, he doesn't hold any punches. Not in a real bad way, but he's got a lot of energy to release tonight. So he had a bit of a run in last weekend with some drivers I won't name for contentious reasons, but yeah, look, he wasn't happy with it.
Sorry, quickly, we just mentioned Treno and Santa. Look at the gap they've got now, P1 and P2.
Wow, 6 thousandths between them. That's a great spotting. Yeah, I was just rambling on like a moron. Well done there to pick that one up. So Trent will be very happy just parking it right behind his main rival there on the table. So as I was saying, yeah, Santa, yeah, he's got a point to prove tonight and wants to obviously get as many points as possible along with Trena and SJ up in P3 at the moment with a 129.2. So SJ's he's got a lot of pace. Everyone knows SJ is a very clean driver and gets as much out of that car as he can on track. So to be sitting P3 overall, I was expecting SJ to probably be sitting in the top 5 in the standings at this stage, and he's well down. He's probably about P13 at the moment, which is not too far off the pace, but if he gets some good result tonight, it could really catapult him into the top 10 and make it run of this championship, which I know he's gunning for.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of quick boys in this tier, and that's what this tier's all about. Development and finding your way up the rankings, and I'm sure a lot of these boys could potentially be seeing a call up to tier 3 or even higher next season. They've just got so much potential and improved a lot of pace across the season, so it's good to see from this tier.
Definitely. We'll get on board with Bang if you don't mind. He's just going through turn 3 at the moment, gets a pretty good exit out of there.
I believe he's just actually completed his lap. Sorry, he moved up to P4.
No, you're right.
29.3. Last time I saw Bang, actually, it was at this track in Inter's Associate League of F1, and he won the race on debut, so I'm expecting big things from this young lad tonight, Bang the bike.
Oh, he's got plenty of pace, Bang, in the Alfa Romeo. He's been up there all season long. Unfortunately, a couple of races ago, I'm pretty sure it was Portugal, he was out to about a 10-second lead, and with about 12 laps to go, he spun it and panicked and spun it a further 2 times in about, 20 metres, 100 metres, you'd have to say, and just cooked his tyres and ended up losing all the way down into P6. So, yeah, look, he recovered to get some good points, but he really did throw a race win away there. So Bang will be looking to bounce back. Of course, he was missing last weekend, and yeah, we all know he's got plenty of pace, and he doesn't hide throwing his weight around out there. Also, we've got an Alpine behind him. I might just get on board with that Alpine. That's Cudsy. I'm going to bring Cudsy into the spotlight for the moment. Of course, Cuds missed last weekend, and Cuds is really, he's making sure that Bang gets out of his way there. So Cuds is just finishing up his hot lap, comes around the last couple of corners there, turn 15's the last one, hits that DRS, gets it open, doesn't improve.
And he only missed up on a lot there. It was only 9 thousandths that he was slower in that time, so look, Cuds, that might, I hate to say, but if that's the case, then that might not be too much more time to be found from him in qualifying. I mean, it's not too bad. He's sitting P9 as Actually, his teammate, a Quiet Cake, further back is reversing. In the wall, what's going on here? Quiet Cake is reversing on the track. Now he's been disqualified for going the wrong way. That was a bit dangerous there from the Cake. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yep, I'm sure we'll get some feedback about that at some stage. It looks like he's actually been disqualified. He has. His car's just pulling over to the side there. So maybe a disconnect. I'm sure we'll find out anyway. But yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a wee one from Cakey. I know. I don't know if we see that sort of stuff from him. The same lag in the chat. It could be the case. Not too sure. Just out of nowhere, you got a car reversing at turn 1, which could have been very dangerous for some drivers.
Yeah, these servers have been a bit choppy lately. I was struggling to actually load on when I was trying to set up this lobby. The servers seemed to be down for a bit, so they're probably coding the next game on top of this one.
Just correct Ads has let us know in the chat and a few others that Cake actually had a qualifying ban, which he may have forgotten about. So he's trying to find a way to delete his lap time. So if that's the case, then I guess that's good thinking from Cake, but it's a bit dodgy at the same way. But we'll move on. It didn't really affect anyone. As I'm on board with Batman, the 197 at the moment. He sits P9, and in Sector 1 he was about a tenth quicker. So hopefully he can find some improvement in his lap here.
All right, we'll get on board with the young man. Of course, Batman last weekend, he was voted driver of the day. He had an outstanding race. Where did he finish
he's
last
7
weekend?
seconds down. 7 seconds down now, Batman, so he must have made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, he finished P5. It was his best finish for the season last weekend in Singapore. In the it was a really tricky circuit to do that as well. And I think he came a long way. I think it was maybe P13 on the grid to come down all the way to P5. So he's in good form, Batman, and of course joined by Jennifer Lee, who was unfortunately disqualified. That's his new teammate. And Batman actually does a great job commentating for us in Tier 2 every weekend. So have a listen to him on Saturday nights. The men from New Zealand in the Haas.
And let's go Haas, says Buster in the chat, and definitely a big Haas supporter, being a Tier 2 representative of Haas. Buster, great bloke, so it's good to see him here cheering on the boys tonight. Hopefully he enjoys the show. But meantime, I am sitting on with Swiss Lord. I'm not sure if he's going to start a lap or not. Looks like he might be. He's opened up the DRS down the straight. I think he's going for a lap here, Broseph.
Yeah, he might be getting a tow from his teammate, because his teammate's in front. So we'll stick on board with Swiss Lord as he just goes a bit wide into turn 1 there. Let's see how he goes through. Not too bad of an exit there. Doesn't get too caught up. On the throttle as fast as he can. Now you want to get over to the left here. Hit that apex in turn 4. He gets over the curb. Not the cleanest one through there, but not too bad. Didn't get too crossed up. Now this is tricky through here. You don't want to take too much of that curb on the right hand side. You just want to clip it on the left. And I'm not sure this is such a great lap from Swiss Lord. Look, I reckon he might be on his second, because he's burned through a lot of his ERS, but we'll stay on board nonetheless, because he is pushing.
He was very deep into turn 10 there.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest exit. I think he's a bit far away to be getting his tow from his teammate a bit further down.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I think Stanford's a bit too far up the road to create any sort of advantage there for his teammate, but Swissy's still pushing on, so we'll see if he can find any sort of improvement in his lap. But he's 200s down, so there's nothing in it through Sector 2. We'll see what he can pull off in this last couple of corners, however.
We've just seen your mate in the Red Bull Powers go P6 overall with a 129.4, so that was a great job from him.
I'm a little disappointed you mentioned that, because my intention tonight was to not make any mention of Red Bull. Nah, I'm just joking. That's good to see. As Santa's the other Apothecary, yes.
Sorry, T8. Santa's just jumped into the 128s there.
Oh, but now speaking of Red Bull, Powers is around is at turn 6, I believe. It is.
Yep.
So Powers I think he's just got the curve there. Luckily no damage on the car.
So A-Dog's just coming around in the Red Bull, his counterpart, and he's coming into pits actually. Looks like we've got a Ferrari coming around as well.
These are the final lap times now for everybody, because the clock has now ended. We've got under 2 minutes for everybody to do a lap.
We got Bridgie coming around the final turn. Is he going to improve his P7 at the moment with a 129.4? He goes quicker with a 129.4.09, so he just gets in front of Powers there.
Yeah, it's good luck there from Bridgie.
We've got Juice coming around again.
Goes to P3. Nice job from Juice.
Very impressive, reserving in the Mercedes tonight. So TP Broccolilli will be very happy with that performance. Juice, I'm pretty sure he had a DNF last time he reserved, so he'll be looking to really respond and bounce back and put some points on the board to show his value. There's no doubt about it. That was a tremendous lap.
It was, and that's qualifying over. All the cars have completed their final push laps, and that's our grid for the start of this race. And the two championship leaders, Trenner and Santa, will start the front row.
Well, you can't split them at the moment, so that's the way that it's been set for the moment. So that's the way we'll go when the lights go out. It'll be Santa P1, Trenner P2, Juice in P3. We've got SJ in P4, Bang in P5. We've got SJ's teammate in the McLaren in P6 and Aussie Powers P7. So pretty entertaining there, and I wonder if Quiet Cat, because it looks like he's actually sitting in P19, I wonder if he'll let Jenneth Lee go through at the start. He probably should, just off the line. Let me just
Just having a quick look at the split times. There's less than a second separating the top 14, Broseph. So that is really impressive from Tier 4 grid this evening. As the fastest lap time was also 1:28.9. That's probably faster than what I can usually pull off around here. So a very good lap from Santa and Trenner. I'll quickly scroll through the results on behalf of GCat.
Yeah, GCat will be many pleased if you do that for him. What else was I going to say? Of course, yeah, Ersko making his debut for Inters tonight. I think he was the last one to put that time on, so before the guys were disqualified. I think he's down at the bottom of the pack there in P18, so hopefully he can just make his way through the field and pick up a few points. He's reserving for the Alfa Romeo, I believe, tonight.
Well, we aren't far away from lights out. It's this beautiful circuit under lights in the desert of Bahrain. I've got 20 seconds, all the drivers now getting their final setups, fuel load, tyre strategies, and then we'll be ready to go racing.
Yeah, it's clear skies. It's clear skies all weekend, so every driver here won't have to worry about the rain this weekend. Yeah, very good weather, and of course we're in for some great racing under lights here. It's always a great spectacle to see these liveries, and of course the real F1 is live this weekend as well, so we get to see all the new drivers representing their new teams and the new liveries. It looks so good under lights. I can't wait. It's going to be a huge weekend of racing. Looking forward to it, T8.
Oh, how could I forget, Bruce? It's a bit of annoying that it's at 2 AM, however. I'm not sure if I've got that in me to stay up for that, but yeah, Bahrain always produces really exciting racing here and as well as in the real life calendar, so it was a big week for motorsport fans, that's for sure. But we'll run through our grid order now. Positions first to 8, all running the medium tyres, and then we've got a bit of a mix of mediums and hards further down the order. But Broseph, would you like to take the honours this evening, mate, of running us through the grid?
I'd love to. So we've got Alan Santa in P1 at the moment in the AlphaTauri. Trenner in the Aston Martin hot on his heels in P2. We've got Juice, who is reserving in the Mercedes tonight in P3. SJ in the McLaren P4. Bang, P5 in that Alfa Romeo. Bridgie, SJ's teammate in P6, so 2 McLarens in the top 6. I'm sure Mercy will be very happy, the team principal, to see that. We've got Powers in the Red Bull in P7. Not Wilds in the Ferrari, who is reserving tonight as well. Cuds in P9 in the Alpine. It's probably his worst qualifying for the season, if I'd have to guess. F1 original Paulie, P10 there.
Wilds around.
Wilds around, so not a great start. Hopefully he doesn't collect anyone and gets those cold tyres to start on the grid. So Paddy's in P11 in the Aston Martin, who's had an up and down year, and yeah, he'll be hoping to just stay out of the incidents tonight and hopefully bag some good points for Aston Martin. Dom Moore, of course, in the Williams. He's been around forever. We love Dom. He's in P12. Batman is in P13 in the Haas. We've got Rusted Cyborg reserving in the Mercedes in P14. A-Dog in the Red Bull P15. Wayne Morris, Inter's resident, P16. So he's got some work to do if he wants to battle with SJ tonight on the hards in P16. Swiss Lord in the Alpha Tauri, who scored more points than not in his debut league racing this season in the Alpha Tauri. Ersko is in P18 in the Alfa Romeo, and Quiet Cake P19 in the Alpine, of course, and Jenneth Lee in the Haas will round out that grid for the moment, and we expect to see Quiet Cake probably give way to Jenneth off the start there and then off and racing for him.
Yeah, possibly that might be the way to go just because of their nature, but we'll wait and see. And I'll quickly touch on the hard tyre runners before we get going. So we've got Cards in P9, you've got Paddy in P11, down to Russet Cyborg with P14. We've also got on the hards, and we've got Wayne Morris out of 16th and Ersko in 18th. They're all on the hard tyres. The rest of the field have gone for the medium hard strategy.
Oh, look at Cuds. He's in a great position, I reckon. All right, I'm just going to get on board. Yeah. I'm going to get on board with SJ.
I'm going to sit on the on board at the start, although they do give us some dodgy cameras, so it might be not long before we switch, but we've got 5 lights and a little bit of a delay. We're just about ready to go and we take off.
Off and racing. Juice has a pretty good start on the outside of the Mercedes.
A great start for the Mercedes. Going to send it down the inside. Down the inside, we can get it down on Alex Santa. Not quite. He's going to have to hold position for turn.
Oh, he does that very nicely.
We'll get out of the onboard view. Looks to be a clean start for everyone through first 3 corners, which is great. But yeah, Juice, the man of the hour, takes off really quickly on the start line. We've got P2. We've got a few moves and shakers in the background. A little bit of contact here between Bridgie and I believe that's not Wazzy to P7. Paddy's made a move on Swiss Lord further back, and Powers is up to P5 in the Red Bull. He's got in ahead of both the McLaren drivers.
Yeah.
He's on the charge as well.
Not I Wilds is really being a little bit aggressive down here. He's trying to get as many moves as he can. He's up in a P8 at the moment, so he's got the 2 McLarens in front of him. It looks like SJ has had a little bit of a moment because he's dropped down a few positions. We see Bridgie gets a little bit on that curb and compromises his exit as they're coming out of turn 10 at the moment, approaching turn 11. Looks like we've got Aussie Powers up on the inside of Bridgie, or it's SJ up on the inside of Aussie Powers, and he gets the move done. Is he going to stick it? Yes, he does. Powers just follows him through as they come into turn 12 here. This is when the tyres are really going to be screaming at the moment because they're not up to temperature T8.
No, they're not, especially for the hard runners. There's got a car around the back. Who's that? It's Donmore and the Williams. Batman's gone around as well. Oh, it's Swiss Lord.
Swiss.
All sorts of chaos happening down the back, and Swiss Lord's now got a 5-second time penalty for collision with Batman.
Yeah, that'll have to come
carry
off
to a poor start. Could possibly get removed, you're right.
But his teammate is up in P1 at the moment, and he's got a 4/10. So he's got 4/10, 5/10
look
on
at this
Juice at the
battle.
moment in P2.
SJ and Wildsy down the inside of turn 1. And just ahead, they've got Bridgie and Powers still battling it out. The other McLaren driver.
Oh, this is a great little contest.
Original Paulie's not far away from this battle either in the second Ferrari.
No,
McLaren versus Ferrari at the moment.
It sure is. Oh! Someone's just gone a little bit wide.
I think that's like Powers. He's dropped 2 positions. He's down to P7. He's going to get a third in this battle pack.
Oh no! Wilds has just gone off in front of him. He was really pushing it, and his tyres just weren't up to temperature yet. So that's unfortunate. He's gone round just as he was approaching turn 9 there. So unfortunate there. Not Wilds is going to have to claw his way back. So just on board with Powers at the moment still.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there for Wilds, but we got back up more with the battle here for P5. Powers and Paulie in a bit of a McLaren sandwich, I guess you could call it right now. It's a battle for P5 down to the 8th place. We've got a bit of an interval glitch on my timing at the moment. We've got some drivers split by over
Paddy
a minute
and
and a
Wayne.
half.
If we can get down to Paddy and Wayne.
Ooh, it's a close battle here, and they've got Cuds not far behind in this battle pack either in the Alpine.
Right, Cuds is in P11.
Yeah, the 2 teammates. We'll start from the Cape.
So Wayne Morris, Wayne and Paddy have actually got in front of Cuds there because Cuds was the first of the hard runner on the grid at the start. So he's fallen back a little, but if he can just hold on to the back of on the back of Wayne and Paddy, it'll carry them through. And of course, Quiet Cake is within DRS, so he'll be wanting to tow his teammate along there.
Yeah, it is a challenge though when you're the 3rd car in a DRS train. When you're the 2nd car, you can sort of be the one to manipulate the moves and when to make the move on someone in. But
SJ and F1 Paulie.
We've just quickly got a car in a pit lane. That's Batman, I believe, in the Haas.
Swiss Lord is actually
change going on for him.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, it is Batman in the pit. Geez, there's some really good battles going on. We've got F1 Paulie. We've got a
car around.
Someone's around.
It's Powers, I believe, in the Red Bull. It was.
He's had a half a spin.
Had a half a spin, and now he's compromised the spots of Paddy as well, and now he's had to go wide through turn 10. He gets the power on early though. He could be right back at Paddy here, but now Paddy's just got too much straight line speed compared to the Red Bull. So Powers, he's had a tricky last couple of laps. He's dropped a few places. Oh, and he almost hit the back of Paddy.
Yeah, getting right up onto the back of Paddy there. Yeah, he did get compromised coming out of that turn 10. If you get on top of that
around
curb,
in the background.
Swiss Lord's having a hell of a time in Bahrain at the moment. Of course, his teammate, polar opposite at the moment in P1, so it couldn't get couldn't be any more polarity for Alpha Tauri at the moment. So, and Santa's actually pulled away to a second and a half lead.
Trenner gets to move on Juice up the top for P2. The Aston Martin driver.
Look at that straight line speed from the Aston Martin. That was really impressive. Of course, he had the DRS, but Juice just had to let him go in his weight there, and Bang is holding on in P4 in the Alfa Romeo, so he's doing a great job. And Bridgie has fallen about 3.5 seconds off the pace of those top 4, so he's got his work cut out to catch that pack.
And that would be from having the battle against the Ferrari drivers and Powers for the last few laps. So I think that Bridgie's now, he's got a bit of an open there behind his teammate and Paulie while they're battling and out the P6 further back. So I think Bridgie, if he can just put his head down and get on the power, he could be right up there with Bane before we know it.
Oh, no doubt about it. He's definitely got the potential, Bridgie. I mean, we saw him chase down Trenner last weekend when Trenner had that broken wing with a couple of laps to go. Bridgie was like a man possessed hunting him down. So let's hope that he can just continue on with that form. As we see SJ, I'm on board with SJ at the moment, who's about 6-7 tenths. He had a bad exit coming out of turn 10 there. He's on the back of F1 Paulie in that Ferrari reserving tonight, and Paulie's putting in a very good performance at the moment, sitting in P6. His teammates down in P17 after we saw that early spin. It was really pushing it Wilds, was making it through the field nicely, but it just cost him. It just cost him there, and he had the spin, and he's battling it out in P17 at the moment. We've got, unfortunately, Batman down in P12. We've got Buster cheering on the Huss boys, and Jennifer's in P15 at the moment. He's not. We've got A-Dog actually up in P14, who's battling Rusted Cyborg as they come around turn 14 and 15 as they head down the front straight here.
I think A-Dog's probably a little bit too far back to make a move, and Rusted Cyborg has DRS also, so it's going to be tough for A-Dog here. They've got to move it up further up. That Cake going down the inside of, was that Wayne Morris, I think. So that puts Cake in the 10th as Power and Paddy having a battle for P8 still. I think Power must have got back in front of Paddy for a little while there.
Yeah.
SJ's got in front of Paulie at turn 4 now.
Oh, wow.
Back behind his teammate of Bridgie.
Yeah, from P6 to P10, we've got some really good battles going on at the moment, and they're chopping and changing like, well, I don't know.
Batman gets the fastest lap of the race. 132.6.
Oh, F1 Original Paulie up on the inside of SJ as they're heading into turn 10. This is really difficult. You know what, Railing and SJ's hit that curve and he's actually spun. He's had half a spin. It was more of a slide than a spin, but he's going to want to be looking to get on the back of F1 Original as we see Powers and Paddy, who've actually got a run here on SJ. So Paulie's actually crept away, and there's a battle for P7 here with SJ, Paddy and Powers all together. And of course, Quiet Cake is not far behind, just out of DRS zone at the moment.
That was a very, very costly mistake from SJ. We don't see too many of those from him, unfortunately. I wouldn't say unfortunately, but it's an unfortunate mistake, rather. Probably just SJ there, but yeah, look, he's going to have to put his head back down and catch back up to Paulie as we've got Yellow, who's that in the, something's off in the background, is that, might have been Domore, it was, at turn 11.
Yeah. The American Domore, unfortunate. Aussie Powers is using all of his ERS. He's got none left, but he was right on the back of Paddy and really putting pressure on that South African driver in the Aston Martin as they head into turn 1. Oh, right on the sack of Paddy at the moment as they go through turn 2 and 3. Hits that DRS, opens it up like a letterbox, as Martin would say. Shout out to you, Martin. We'll see you on Sunday for Tier 1, mate. He's about 3.5 tenths behind. Of course, we've had a yellow sector again. It looks like...
Well, Erskine out of the race.
Erskine's
turn
out.
1. That's a full course safety car.
1. Yep.
I think he's made contact with another car there. Looks like he's hit the back of another car perhaps, and now that's brought out the safety car on lap 6.
Oh, that's going to throw a spanner in the works for some of these drivers. You'd think Alan Santa, Treno, Juice, Bang, Bridgie, SJ, Paulie. You wouldn't think they'd pit so early on those mediums. They're going to have to do 23 laps on the hards, you'd think. Well, what do you reckon?
I know one thing's for certain. Batman's not wasting any time. He's got back on his hard tyres that he started the race on.
Yeah, that's a good call, Batman.
I think we see these medium runners come in and just play it out. Hopefully they can stretch the hards as long as they can. See what, this is probably the last lap that the hard runners will be safe with an early safety car. I think any later and they would have been in a pretty bad position strategy-wise. So I think we might see some medium runners stay out, whereas I think we're going to get a bit of a mix. Some will stay out, some will stay out, some will come in, I should say.
We've just seen Santa, he dummied going into the pits, and he's taken off. Juice is pitting, so Juice is the first of the medium runners.
Well,
He's
there we go, I
decided to
called
box.
it. I definitely called it here. We've got some staying out, some coming in.
You're all
Frishy's
over it.
also staying out. Trent has stayed out as well. Juice and Bang are in. They've gone on the hard tyres.
SJ was always
Who
going to
else we
stay
got?
out.
We've got Original Paulie in and who was that? Aussie Powers in the Red Bull.
Yep,
So we've got 4 stoppers getting off the mediums and onto the hards. Looks
All
like
right, so we've
everyone
got a
else will
couple
be staying out there. Wilds is into the pit lane as well.
Yep. So if you see Bang, Juice, F1 Original Paulie and Powers sitting around a poker table, you know these blokes are likely to go all in.
Swiss Lord's into the lane, I think, getting off those medium tyres. He's had a tough race so far. Swiss Lord, David Donmore, he's back in the lane as well. But I'll tell you what, this does, anyone that's been around and down the order, they're right back in this race now with the safety car and catch back up to the field and hopefully keep it out of trouble. And we could even see him up in the podium places before we know it.
You never know, mate. Yeah, of course, yeah, same goes for, as you said, all those drivers with damage. Batman's a big chance of getting back into the points tonight. But yeah, look, we have got the safety car on reduced after last season. We had way too many safety cars spoiling the races that we had, and so we've got it on reduced. And we haven't seen too many safety cars, to be honest. Even in Singapore, there wasn't a safety car until Tier 1, believe it or not, which was really surprising. So to see one here at Bahrain, you know, it's not out of this world, but yeah, there's some really tricky corners, and if you do get it wrong, I think it's through turn 5, 6, 7, just those winding ones in the middle sector. If you cross those ones up, you're likely to end up in a barrier because you're really pushing some speed through those corners.
Yeah, I'm still trying to fully understand what happened to Ersko at turn 1, because there's no barrier there. I don't think he would have hit the wall. I'd say maybe a car spud in front of him and probably just had nowhere to go and hit the back of it, I'd assume. But yeah, look, it's pretty open track, so it's kind of hard to go off and hit a barrier at the same time. But turn 11 and turn 12 are probably the main culprits for where all the DNFs are going to happen this evening.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. So we've actually got the two McLarens up in P3 and P4 at the moment. Now, we had an interesting, draft concept this season, and McLaren, of course, finishing last at the end of last season, they had the best opportunity to get the most chances of getting the best picks in round 1, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was even for the rest of the rounds. Look, no, actually, they had more balls to put in. Look, it's a really confusing concept, but anyway. It ended up in McLaren's favour, that's the bottom line. Mercy got some very good draft picks, and he drafted very well to match those draft picks that he had. So they're putting it on display. They're leading the championship overall at the moment in the Constructors. And yeah, at the moment in Tier 4, their drivers sitting P3 and P4 at the moment, just demonstrating how well Mercy has done draft-wise this season.
Yeah, Mercy's done a good job turning McLaren around. And yeah, they've been unstoppable in all 4 of the tiers. The KLX comes to mind in Tier 1. I believe KLX is McLaren driver Tier 1. You have to refresh my mind here.
He sure is. He's really putting pressure on Prince as well. Yeah, KLX
I was
has
worried
won
I got it wrong there. I'm thinking, shit.
No, he's won 2 races back to back. So he's in tremendous form, and yeah, he's doing so good for McLaren. And of course, in here we've got the Aston Martins in P2 and P5. I can't forget Matty, our youth team principal there, and of course he's the one that put all these driver lineups together and just shows.
Sanders just made a mistake. He almost lost the
that.
spot to Trenner there, but got safety car in this lap, so Sanders got away lucky with that one. I think he might have just got the curve and maybe done a half spin perhaps.
I think Trenner was being kind there. Yep.
Yeah, I reckon Trenner probably could have gone without and got away with it then, because Sanders was off the track. He had all 4 wheels past the white line. But anyway,
Let's
just to say how they are.
He's gone. Oh, that was very tricky.
Oh yeah, he's taken off very early, and he's left Trenner napping. He's under attack now from bridge into turn 1.
Wow. So Santa, he just has gone straight away, and he's gotten that gap that he had at the race before the safety car went in. So That was very good tactics there from the AlphaTauri driver to get away so cleanly, and Bridgie is right up behind Trenner at the moment. He's just 3/10 behind there as they go through turn 3. It looks like Bang and Jenneth may have come together. No, they're just battling really hard at the moment. Juice is on the back of the Mercedes as well. We'll stay up the front though with Bridgie, who's just 3.5 tenths behind Trenner. I'll keep my eye a bit further down the field, but this is where we want to stay with the front runners at the moment, and Santa has just galloped away in that sleigh, so well done to him on that restart. Of course, SJ doesn't want to put too much pressure on Bridgie, just wants to keep those tyres nice and warm. Have we got a yellow sector? Yes, it looks like F1 Original Paulie might be having some trouble there.
Bridgie all over the back of Trenner. Could go for a move, I think it's too far back, and we've got to remember DRS won't be enabled for 2 laps after the safety car as we enter the pit lane. So on lap 11 we'll see the reopening of DRS, but meantime it's all going to be about conserving and managing how you use your ERS for the time being. You use it too much in these opening laps of the race, you're not going to get it back to the end, and it's when you need it most. I think Bridgie knows that. He's just holding back off Trenner for the time being, just holding his position. He just made a bit of a mistake there that's probably cost him about a 10th. And you've got SJ's McLaren teammate just behind him there, with Paddy in P5.
SJ's doing a great supporting role, no doubt about it. If we go a bit further down, Not I Wilds is putting tremendous pressure on Jenneth Lee and the Haas as they turn into turn 14. Jenneth looks to go a little bit wide. Turn 15, this is where I Wilds is going to gap it on the inside and get a good run. He's using all of his ERS. They're side by side at the moment, these two cars. They're going to head into turn 1. Looks like Jenneth has got a bit better straight line speed. This is going to be side by side action. I'd rather be on the outside because you get a better turn exit out of turn 2. Let's have a look at this one. Plays out here. Jenneth looks like he's let him go. He has. He's copped all of that on the inside, and it looks like Donmore has got a position, so Jenneth has missed out there.
Unfortunate for Jenneth, just wrong place at the wrong time, and that's cost him 2 places in the sequence of a couple of corners. And now he's got Powers on his inside, and he's going to have to let the Red Bull, oh no, he holds his line, and he holds the position, and Powers gives him a little bit of a love tap out of a corner, playing on. But Power's going to send it down the inside, and that puts the Rebel up to P15. Jenneth Lee now getting under attack from Swiss Squad, so Jenneth lost about 3 or 4 places in about half a lap here. And he's going to have to go deep, almost makes contact with Powers. They do make a bit of contact at the exit, but that's, I think Jenneth did the right thing there, just backed out of it. And now he's had to drop down to P17, and now 18. Jenneth Lee, he was about P13 just about a lap ago. And now he's being swapped by Paulie, so Jenneth's just gone from nearly top 10 to basically last.
Yeah, P13 down to P19. Unfortunate for Jenneth there. Maybe those medium tyres might be just giving him a little bit more grief than those quick hard runners in front of him, you'd have to imagine. But look, he played that fairly well there. He had cars all around him and kept it nice and steady, and he's still on the back of his teammate here, so he'll look to get a bit of DRS and pull back onto the back of this pack.
I'm sitting on board with Bangler by 7 at the moment. He's going to go for a dive on Russ's sideboard into turn 1. The Mercedes just leaves him enough for him over the curve, but he wasn't able to get the place done. So he's at P10 at the moment.
Yeah, it was a great spotting there, T8.
So these drivers are going to have DRS enabled now, as next time will be over and be after turn 10 on the back straightaway up to turn 11. As Ersko's packed it up for the night, sadly.
Oh, and Bang has actually gone to the back of Rusted Cyborg.
Oh, I've just gone off board with him. I was just sitting with him a minute ago.
He's coming around right now. He's right out in front of Powers, and he's DNF'd him. So Bang has just made a really bad decision there to pull out in front of those drivers, and Aussie Powers is going to be furious, you'd imagine.
Oh, I'm about to get 100 notifications from the Discord team chat. That's for sure, sadly.
He just went to the back of Rusted Cyborg. It was unfortunate, just maybe a bit of lack of patience there from Bang. Maybe he had to wait for the DRS zone coming out of turn 10 to get that move done, but yeah, he just couldn't pull up in time and got himself a bit crossed up, had to spin and then pulled out on the racing line, which is just not what you want to see. So we've got another safety car. No, it looks like maybe just now we've got a full safety car.
Full safety car.
Yeah, bugger. That's Santa's going to have to do another, and Santa's in the pits.
So's Trenner. So all these medium runners that haven't stopped are going to come in. Paddy stays out on the hard tyres. So it's just wrong place, wrong time there for Powers. I think maybe Banglabai could have taken a little bit more patience, but I think heat at the moment, you want to get back out on track as quick as you possibly can, because Bane lost a lot of positions after that spin, and I think just frustration, thinking about many different things at once. Yeah, it's just unlucky for both drivers. Have I just missed something close here, Broseph?
Oh, look, I was just on board with Paddy, who's going to be feeling very comfortable in P1 at the moment. He loves to lead from the front. He's a born leader, that man, and we love him. Paddy's in the Aston Martin, and he came around turn one absolutely with his foot down, his pedal to the floor, and he almost lost it and went to the back of the safety car there. So just living life on the edge, the young man from South Africa. Shout out to Paddy. And Wayne Morris is actually up in the P2 in the Williams, so it's actually the first 4 drivers there are on the hards, and they've gone 11 laps on those, so they're the cars that haven't decided to pit yet, and they're going along on those hards, obviously. Not Wilds is up in the P5 on 5-lap old hards with Juice at the moment, so those 2 reserves are doing very well for their respective teams, Ferrari and Mercedes. Dom Moore's crept up into P7 after having a difficult beginning, but those safety cars have really brought him back into contention, and he's done 5 laps on those mediums, so you doubt they'll go all the way. Maybe he'll hope for another safety car.
He's the only medium runner out on track at the moment as well, so
wow.
I think at the safety car restart, Dom Moore's going to have some serious pace, but how long that'll last, I'm not too certain.
Yeah, he's probably the bloke to stay on board with, maybe at the restart. If not the, actually, we'll have to stay on board with the leader, P1, to make sure he has a nice clean restart with the safety car. So Swiss Lord's actually up in a P8 in the AlphaTauri, so he's done well to climb himself back up into that position. And F1 Paulie, who we saw had a difficult restart with the safety car just a few laps ago, is up in a P9 in the Ferrari, so very consistent, as is Batman in the Haas in P10. And Santa, of course, was leading the race in P11 with Trenner and Bridgie and SJ behind him. Quiet Cake as well, I think he was with that pack. So yeah, it'll have to be quite a few laps, I'd imagine, until we see Santa, likes of Santa and Trenner and Bridgie back at the front of this race.
We've actually got, if you don't mind, Brass, we've got Powers asking for an invite to the chat. I'll leave that up to you to work that out if you want to put him in or not, mate. But I think we should be going green next lap meantime.
Yeah, I could imagine what Powers' reaction is going to be. He is one of my co-commentators, who we've just recently signed to enter as a commentator, so let's bring him in. I'll add him into the chat. We'll see what he's got to say, as long as he keeps it PG. We'd love to hear from him, because yeah, it was just really unfortunate for the Red Bull driver there.
So, look, one thing I haven't really shown yet on the stream is the position changes. Our biggest gainer, he's up 14 places, Wayne Morris, although he's yet to do a pit stop in this race. He's on the 11-lap, or I should say 12-lap old hard tyres. So I think the biggest lead... Oh, is that Paulie dropping down the order? He's lost a few places, and
no, he's giving it back.
Legal overtakes, might be some legal overtakes being made out here.
Well, that's going to come out in the stewards, you'd imagine. Yeah. Maybe it was a half spin. Paulie maybe went off track and Santa got up on the inside, I'm not sure. But we do have Aussie Powers, who was just DNF'd in the Red Bull when Bang spun and re-entered onto the racing line. So I'd imagine Powers isn't too pleased right now with that DNF. Run us through it, mate.
Oh, well, coming around into the just out of sector 1. I mean, theory is fun, but if I learn how to drive instead of staying where he put, he's just supposed to drive forward as I'm coming around the corner and then just straight into him.
Yeah.
It's the easiest move I've ever seen from anybody.
Yeah, mate. Look, we got a feel for you. We caught it on. Well, I caught it on mine anyway, and yeah, just super unlucky there. It ended your race, and it's not what you want to see, but it's unfortunate. Look, the race is just getting underway again, so we'll have to leave it there, Powers. Thanks for joining us, and we'll hope to see you next weekend.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
All right, so we've got Paddy, but he didn't have the greatest start because Wayne Morris is all over the back of him as they go into turn 1. Wayne has actually sent it. He's going to have a go,
and there's contact, and Wayne's gone around. You have to rejoin safely here. Oh, and under contact with Wilds.
And his teammates right behind him. Dom Moore's had to just pull up a little bit because Wayne just a little bit crossed up as he re-entered the racing line, but he's up in the P6. maybe just wanted to hesitate a little bit, because the last thing you want to do is send it on cold tyres after the restart. But nonetheless, he's holding position up the top, and he's done quite well. So Paddy's got away almost to a second lead at the moment to Cuds in P2. Rusted Cyborg is holding in P3 with his teammate Jushin, the Mercedes, right behind him. We've got No Wilds in P5, and as we said, Wayne Morris holding it down in P6 with his teammate on those medium tyres, T8 and P7.
Yeah, it could have ended a lot worse for Wayne. He just spun in the wrong position or re-entered at the wrong time. That could have spelt disaster for a lot of drivers. It looks like he's rejoining fairly safely in there. He's just been overtaken by his teammate Domore up for P6. But it looks like Wayne's going to try and fight him back here. This is interesting from the two Williams boys. They're going side by side. Oh, that was close to contact. And I think Wayne probably wasn't too happy about that, being overtaken by his teammate.
Well, I think what happened is Dom was on the fresher tyres, but compromised his entry, which gave Wayne a much better exit out of turn 12, I believe it was. And we know these guys are actually quite close teammates. They'd be in comms together, I've got no doubt about it. So that was probably the plan, to give the medium runner the go-ahead. But Wayne just looks to be in a little bit better form coming through the last sector, as we see Batman up on the inside of Swiss Lord, gets the move done. But Swiss Lord is actually coming back here, and he's up on the inside and gets the move done as they turn 1. F1 Paulie's actually sent it big time. He's actually got a few moves done, but he's made contact and he's let those cars go in front of him. It looks like Batman has compromised himself as well, so that's allowed Santa to go through, and he's following his teammate. Trenner is right behind Santa as well, so the two net team race leaders are actually following each other quite closely through here.
All sorts of chaos further back. Paulie had another big snap of the race here coming out of turn 4. That almost put him into the wall, but he corrected the car up in time, and now he's under attack from SJ. He goes deep, nearly hits the back of Bridgie, but he pulled it up just in time, and SJ's gone for a bit of a switchback, although he's going to be on the outside for the next corner, and he actually backs out of the move.
Yeah, if you remember, TA, this is where SJ was battling a car previously, and he went wide as they went too wide through turn 10, and SJ really hit that curb and compromised his exit and had half a spin. So it was much better planning there from SJ, just tucking in behind that Ferrari and making the best out of that exit. As he's got a nice run into turn 12. Is he going to put some pressure on? That's turn 11. Sorry, this is turn 12. On the inside, he's just going to tuck in behind. He needs a good entry and exit out of turn 13. Gets all of that exit.
Paulie went a bit wide there, and that gave SJ a good exit, but wasn't able to execute anything from it. But now he's going to go to the outside. Paulie's going defensive. I think Paulie might be trying to get the DRS here. It actually hasn't been enabled in time for that, but now he's made a bit of contact, and now he's had to go off the track. What is... Oh, okay, Paulie stopped on track at the last corner. Not sure if...
Yep, he's just pulled over there.
Maybe he thought he was going to end up spinning and just wanted to be safer rather than sorry, but...
SJ Quitecake going side to side into turn 1. Looks like Quitecake may have pushed SJ a little bit wide, but nonetheless that's perfectly good racing as they go through turn 3. SJ's going to look to get a nice clean run here as they approach turn 4. You want to hit this apex nicely. SJ goes a little bit wide, following Quitecake. This is the difficult part of the section. Bridgie, of course, is a few spots up, just following Batman, and then we've got Trenner, Alan Santa and Swiss Lord. So the two race leaders, the net race leaders, Alan Santa and Trenner, are right up behind P8 and P7. So this is going to be interesting. You suspect Swiss Lord is going to let his teammate go, and Trenner's actually gone into the back of Santa. So we've had a collision into turn 10, the two race leaders. So Santa, I'm not sure if he's got damage, but Trenner, you'd think would with that front wing, so that's just thrown a big spanner into the works here. It looked like Swiss Lord may have gone a bit slow into that corner. It compromised Santa's exit, and then Trenner got caught up. So yeah, not what you want to see, and yeah, unfortunate there, T8.
Yeah, it's going to be very costly for Trenner's race and also his championship standings. I know there's a lot of rounds left to go and still a chance for a good points result, but look, if we don't have any more safety cars, then Trenner's going to struggle for the remainder of this race as Santa's championship rival sits in P9. As Swiss Lord look down the inside of... Oh, Wayne Morris did big contact and then he's had to jump the curb. I don't know how he got away with that without spinning. I think Swiss Lord's just trying to make it as many places as possible to help out the AlphaTauri team. But yeah, it's getting a little bit aggressive at the moment from a few of these boys ever since that last safety car restart.
Yeah, you're right. There's a bit of argy-bargy out there, and I think we saw a bit of frustration released there from F1 Original Paulie, who was really battling in He looked like he just pulled over in a bit of a moment of frustration there, but he's back on the racing line, and we've actually got the two Hasses who were battling for position there, and Trent has actually got up on the he's got up and he's got the move done on Batman there, so he's going to work his way through the field, as you said, as quickly as possible, and it's going to take him all of the skill that he's got to fight his way back through the field. He's in P15 at the moment, which is in the points, but it's not enough points for Aston Martin and the number 1 Tier 4 driver at the moment on the standings. We move back up the field. Let's have a look where the battles are happening, T8.
Everyone seems to be fairly spread out. I think the closest battle I can personally see, I don't know actually, give me a sec. Let's go up to P3. Not Wilds is about half a second back from Cuds in P2, and Cuds has got the Christmas lights on. He's flashing out of DRS, and Wilds has the DRS open. He couldn't be able to move up to turn 4 here, Wildsy.
Oh, now, here's a bit of insight. So I did some practice with Cuds during the week, and I had the outside line going through here, and Cuds has done very nice to be the biggest boat he can. Very nice. Wilds is getting the switch on the inside as they enter into turn 4, so it looks like he might get the move done here on Cuds, and he does. Cuds is going to look for the switch back. As he hits turn 4, you don't want to get on the throttle too early because you will go around. We've got a yellow flag. It looks like, yeah, Jenneth Lee is around. So he'll be battling with Paulie at the back there. So we're still on board with Cuds. He's just 2 tenths behind this Ferrari at the moment, who got that nice clean move done through turn 1. As they head up to this dreaded turn 10 now. So Paddy's out to 1.3 seconds in front. You want to make sure you get this nice and clean through here, and Cuds does that nicely following Wilds. So you'd imagine Cuds will try and get the move done exactly where Wilds got it done on turn 1. So he'd want to get a little bit closer to this as they enter into DRS zone through the last sector here. We've got Juice, of course, following close behind, half a second behind the Mercedes, and his teammate 3 seconds behind in P5. Looks like another yellow flag, so it might be those two at the bottom.
Donmore's gone around.
Is it? Oh no!
Yeah,
Donmore's not having a great night.
I'm actually told by Buster in the chat that Paulie might be lagged out, so perhaps you want to maybe check for an invite.
Out. All right, let me see if I can.
Yep. I'll quickly watch the action for you.
Copy that.
As Wilds gets the fastest lap of the race with a 1 minute 32.5, and now he's going for the lead on Paddy. He's down the inside into turn 1, but he actually backs out of the move there. I think he wants the DRS for turn 4, but he's going to send it anyway, and now that puts Wilds into the lead of the race.
All right, so I missed that little bit of action, but Wilds is he's in a purple patch at the moment. He's gone from P3 to P1 in just over a lap, so he's in great form, and of course this is his return tonight to racing. So if he's been out for a while and just returning, it's a remarkable job from him. And I'm sure Mash, his team principal at the Ferrari team, will be over the moon to see the Ferrari in P1 and T4 at the moment. He wouldn't have expected that, seeing both of his full-time drivers out tonight.
And I've just seen further down the order, the McLaren boys of SJ and Ridgey have made a position spot, so I'm not sure there was a little bit of team orders or it was just hard fought for racing, but yeah, McLaren doing a quick driver swap, and that puts SJ in front of Ridgey for the time being.
I'd imagine probably hard racing because Bridgie's he's well up on the table in P5 in the McLaren, so you'd imagine SJ would be the supportive driver at the moment for that team. If we could just bring up the tyres as well, if you don't mind, T8, we've got Paddy and Cuds, Cyborg and Wayne Morris on 18 lap old hards, and they're yet to box. So they're gonna want to box. You'd imagine pretty soon. They might be pushing it to go the hard soft strategy, as none of those drivers are boxing at the moment. Let's have a look. Wayne Morris is coming around turn 15. Is he going to box? No.
Santa's got ahead of Swiss Lord. That's critical for the carries.
The move is done there to give Santa the go ahead.
Cars has lost out. Juice is down. He's overtaken 2 cars, Juice, into 1 corner. I'm not sure there was maybe contact or not, but he's come from a long way back from the Mercedes driver, and it's gone from 4th to 2nd.
Well, I did see Juice was being very patient down the front straight.
Cards around the outside of Paddy. Oh, and there's big contact, and they're both in the wall.
Cards looks like he's driving through Paddy. That was that a lag? Was that a lag out?
I don't know, it doesn't look like either driver's got damage either.
That was very strange.
Looks like Paddy's car's shaking around a little bit.
Alright. Yeah, I think Paddy may have damage because he did go into the wall. I think it was just hard racing there. It didn't look like
I think there might be some lag here because Paddy's just hit Wayne Morris off a bit, and There's going to be many consequences. No, I don't think there's any damage on either car there, Cuds and Paddy. I don't think any drivers just had any idea what's happened to us on the screen.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come out in the wash. Yeah, maybe decent. Yeah, must have got something on my mind, that's for sure. So Wayne Morris and Paddy are still battling it out as they go around turn 12, 13. And so Wayne's got a bit of a run here.
Bunched up here. From Wayne Morris down to A-Dog, all the way down to 12. It's a huge battle pack here.
That's a massive train, isn't it? As they turn around, turn 14 and 15 as they're coming down the straight. Look at the lineup.
Oh, Cards has got a 5 second speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, no!
And Paddy's gone straight in as well. I'll see if they do wing changes to find out whether or not there's damage.
Yeah, those two drivers.
Cards is serving a time penalty, I believe.
Paddy is changing. No, Paddy's not changing his wing, so I'm going to guess a bit of a lag out there from what we saw.
Here's what's interesting though. Cards has gone the medium tyre option as Paddy's gone the softs. Yeah,
Paddy, he's one to risk it for the biscuit, there's no doubt about it. He leaves no one wondering. And Cuds is he's taken the more reliable option, you'd have to say. So those mediums will definitely get him home, but he'll want to get those temperatures up in those tyres as quickly as possible. Alan Santa looks like he's on the back of Wayne Morris at the moment. If we go up into P5, and Batman's picked up a 3 second penalty.
Switzerland's gone around and that's compromised the run of SJ, and both the clans are caught up in that, so they've lost bases, and ADOG swoops around all three of those cars into P7, and now Trent is back into the fight here for the top 10. Someone goes wide, it was McLaren, was
Swiss Lord is really pushing it here, and he's turned the McLaren, he's turned
and Trent is caught up in that. Trent is caught up in that as well, the championship leader.
Yeah. That wasn't too clean there from my driver, I'm going to have to say. He just needs to show a bit more patience, of course. This is his first season league racing, but you just can't put that much pressure on a driver going through those turns. All right, let's move back up. So it looks like
Wayne's in the pit lane.
Wayne is pitted,
to make that stop.
He's going to put on those soft tyres in Imagine T8 and come out and push as hard as he can to the end.
Tell you what, this strategy hasn't worked for all those boys that stayed out on the hard for this long, because they're right back down the back of the order. Paddy, Cards, they're all down there. Wayne's going to head there once he comes out of lane, and Rusted Cyborg is out of contention for P3 now as well.
You know what the question is? I mean, so is Paddy going to really... Sorry, is Santa going to catch these top two drivers who have decided to go long on these hard tyres? So Paddy has got 5 lap fresher tyres than Notto, Wilds and Douche at the moment. So that's really going to be the contest. We'll keep an eye on that delta and see if Santa can make some inroads on that.
Personally, I don't think there's going to be enough laps left. I know Santa's definitely got the pace, but just for the gap and only 8 laps left, I'm not too certain. But we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. As I expect Rusted Cyborg to probably pit this lap, if not the next. I don't imagine those harder laps, too many laps of life left in them.
I mean, is he likely to do an Alex Albon in Australia?
Could, although it's Australia and Bahrain are probably 2 completely different tracks in terms of tyre wear. But yeah, we'll wait to see how long Rusted Cyborg can stretch those tyres for. He's coming around the last corner now, so I can see what he does. He's boxing.
He's boxing, so he's had enough. He's going to go into those softs, you'd imagine. So Santa comes around. Let's have a look. So the gap between P3 and P2 at the moment is just under 9 seconds. So Santa's got to make his way 5.5 laps and see if he can get this done. You're probably right. It's probably too much of an ask, but anything can happen in F1. Of course, we saw Bang leading the race by over 10 seconds and spun. Unfortunate there. So it's a long way from over as we see Paddy gets in the fastest lap. He's on those soft tyres and he is pushing it along with Rusted Cyborg. So the battle really at the moment is up with SJ in P6 at the moment, and ADOG, who's on the back of Quiet Cake, chasing down P4 in that Alpine. So ADOG's actually done really well to bring himself up in a P5 at the moment and pushing for some really good points tonight. Probably be his best finish for the year off the top of my head.
Yeah, ADOG's had a few unfortunate mishaps so far this season. I'm very happy to see him up in P5 at the moment. I don't want to fork him up too much though. We've still got maybe 6 laps to go, so anything can still happen. But yeah, ADOG's in a good spot at the moment. He's chasing down Quiet Cake for P4. I believe they're good mates as well, ADOG and Quiet Cake, so hopefully we see some good good racing then, some hard battles between the two without any contact. But I'm sure Cake's not going to give up the position easily.
No way. No, Quiet Cake, he's quite a good defensive driver, and I'm sure he'll be doing all he can to keep A-Dog behind him. And they're all on 11 lap old hard, so it's just going to be a matter of skill and ERS and DRS, you'd imagine, as well. Now, the two house drivers, Batman and Jeneth, they're in P9 and P11 at the moment, so those two boys have done really well just battling along, and almost both drivers in the top 10. Of course, they're all in the points. Points go down to P15, and that's where Wayne Morris is at the moment on fresh medium tyres, about 4 tenths behind Original Paulie, who's up in a P14. Hopefully, Original Paulie has rejoined and is back and racing.
I'll tell you what, Bryce, with this recovery drive from Batman and Swiss Lord, this has really gone unnoticed so far. They were down in last at the start of this race, and on lap 24, they find themselves both in the top 10.
Look, you're dead right, and Swiss Lord, I'm really impressed with you fighting so hard to get yourself up in a P8 at the moment, but I've got a feeling you're going to find yourself back in the incident room, into the steward's room. You know, I love the fight he's having. He's pushing really hard, but yeah, he probably will drop a few positions with maybe a pen to come his way. It just didn't look like the cleanest move on Bridgie.
My goodness, Don Wars has made up 2 places for P15, the last spot in the points as Original Paulie and Cuds were fighting it out into turn 4. And
Still fighting.
Side by side. Oh, one of them has to back out, and Paulie does just that.
Paulie's going to look to get a bit of exit out of here as they approach the dreaded turn 10, and there was a bit of contact between those two drivers, but Cuds looks like he's got the fresher tyres, and he should be able to pull away from F1 Original Paulie, who's on 17 lap old hards.
So that puts both Williams cars back into the points. There's 14th and 15th at the moment. We'll go back up the top. See if we can find any battles. SJ's catching A-Dog. A-Dog's caught up a little bit on Quiet Cake. Trenner's still in here as well. I don't know how Trenner didn't get any damage from that Swiss Lord and Bridgie contact earlier on, because he was caught right up in that. But Trenner's going to go for the dive down the inside of SJ to turn 1. And he makes it work only just, but SJ's going to hold his line and he gets the position back. So Trenner's going to have to go for it again up into turn 4, but SJ's going to go defensive. They've both got DRS. And Trenner can't quite get it done.
Oh, this is really good racing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
really
the
racing.
McLaren and the Aston Martin. Yep, through that first sector, it was really clean. Trenner just sticking on the back of SJ and not going anywhere. Oh, SJ compromised himself a little bit there. Let's see if Trenner can make the most of it as they approach that awful turn 10. So let's have a look. SJ, you've got to commend him. He's really stuck it in there tonight, and he's battling really hard, and he's in P6 at the moment, looking to grab probably his best points haul of the season, you'd have to say. Oh, A-Dog, the Red Bull.
Going for the inside of Cake.
He is. It's
he
turn
can't
11.
quite get it done though. He gets it back out
Tucks
of
in
the
behind
move.
him. Yep. Of course, this is where we saw Swiss Lord getting a little bit aggressive on the inside of Bridgie, and it's just not where you want to try and get it done. So these drivers here are a little more seasoned, and they're aware just to tuck back in those drivers in front of you and really take advantage on the straight with the DRS.
See what A-Dog can do. Can he line it up to get the move done this time on Quiet Cake? Looks like he may be able to do that. The Cake is burning the battery. A-Dog's holding on to whatever he can. So I think that's just going to hurt A-Dog's top end a little bit.
SJ's trying to break that toe of Trenner behind him. It looks like Trenner's going to send it up. He is. He sends it up on the inside of turn 1, and he does very well not to make contact with A-Dog. And
SJ has to go on the grass then.
SJ's exit out of turn 2, but that was all clean. It was all 4 tyres on the track from the drivers there. The move was there to be made. Of course, it's tricky trying to get that move done through turn 2 and 3, but Trenner got it done there, so he moves up another position, and he's going to chase down A-Dog and Quiet Cake and try and not let Santa get too many points ahead, you'd have to say.
Yeah, that's got to be what they're trying to do, and really, ample laps to go. Every position is going to be critical here, and I'll tell you what, Trenner, he definitely looks to have the most pace in this group of 4 cars at the moment. He's just right on the back of A-Dog, and he's going to try and keep up in this battle as well, but A-Dog's got DRS as well on Quiet Cake, and A-Dog's not anywhere near as close as he was on the previous lap to Quiet Cake, and he had a bit of a slow exit for turn 11 as well, so Cake's pulled about to a bit over half a second now. This is the battle for P4. I'll actually get up the penalties real quickly, because we have to touch base and remember that, where am I looking? Yeah, Santa's got a 3-second penalty and he's got a 3.8-second gap to Quiet Cake behind, so it's going to be tough for Cake to find the 8/10 in a space of 2 or 3 laps, but look, Cake just needs to try and keep that in the back of his head, try not to fight A-Dog too much, try to get back in there within Santa, because Cake's not too far out from the podium.
That's right, just a slight little mistake there from Santa, and if Quiet Cake can hold that position, he will take that podium. It's hanging around that 8/10 mark at the moment. It's just gone up a little bit now, so hopefully he can just keep his car as steady as possible. Of course, Trent is putting a lot of pressure on this Red Bull at the moment on the outside. He's made too much contact and spun himself.
And it's taken SJ with him.
Yep, he certainly has. SJ won't be happy getting caught up in that mess. So let's have a look at Trent and SJ. They're battling hard. They're battling very hard. The tyres are going to be screaming at them at the moment. Just over 2 laps to go. You'd have to say Trent got the better exit there, but SJ's going to get the run of DRS as they come into turn 10. You want to get a nice entry and even better exit, and he does. Lines it up, gets a little bit of a snap, opens up that window on the back of his car. Let's see. It's not enough to get it done, so he's just going to have to tuck in behind and see if he can make a better entry into turn 15 and see if he can get the run down there.
Despite the little contact of turn 4, I've really been enjoying watching this battle. A-Dog and Cake have since pulled away after Trenner and SJ collided at turn 4. A-Dog still trying to make the way past Quiet Cake. He's just not able to get close enough for the DRS. He hasn't got a lot of battery to use either. Cake pulled a lot of a lot of battery back. A-Dog's having to burn to try and keep up. I don't think A-Dog's going to have much left in him to get to a move because he's still 5 points out. I think A-Dog might just have to settle for P5 unless Cake makes a mistake or he can somehow pull a lot of top-end speed out of his pocket, but it's looking a bit unlikely for the Red Bull at the moment.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Batman and Rusted Cyborg are going side by side into turn 1 in the background. And it's a little bit of contact. Batman had to drop the position. He goes back down to P11.
Yeah, that was really well done there. Cyborg got the move done. Batman will be fighting hard to get that one back, you'd imagine, but he's got the 3-second penalty, so that's going to count against him. He'll probably finish down into P13, you'd imagine, if he can hold on there. So just moving a bit further up to that contest you were talking about, A-Dog and the Red Bull. Of course, just over a lap and a half to go, and like you said, he may just want to settle for that P5 because you don't want to risk it and obviously ruin your race and the bloke in front of you, but he has got that advantage of opening up the DRS. If he can get close enough through the last sector here, he may be able to get a good run. Of course, Quiet Cake has had the better straight line speed, but A-Dog really needs to get on the back of him and get this move done before the final lap if he wants to get that precious points up in a P4.
He's got one more lap to do it. Still hasn't really been able to find any time on Cake. I don't think A-Dog's going to be able to really pull anything together in this last lap. I think you can't go wrong for a P5 though for A-Dog. I'm sure we at Red Bull will be very pleased with that.
Yeah, I reckon A-Dog would be stoked as well. I think he did get a top 5 finish. I think he finished 5th in one of the earlier races, maybe race 1 or 2 this season. Of course, look, not iWilds in the Ferrari. He's out to just under 7-second lead at the moment in P1. He's coming around in his final lap, so reserving for Ferrari tonight. Mash is going to be very, very happy. Of course, Blue Dog, is one of his teammates, is pretty happy as well. Juice in P2, so both the reserves are sitting P1 and P2 at the moment, which is pretty surprising to see here, but it just goes to show the amount of talent that we've got stacked in Tier 4 at Inters. Of course, we had 10 drivers waiting to reserve tonight, so we've got some great numbers here. So it was the right strategy to box. I think it was lap 8 or lap 9, may have been a little bit earlier, lap 6 I think it was, and those blokes chucked on those hard tyres and they've gone the long way, and it's actually worked out quite well for the reserve drivers. As we move further down, looks like A-Dog, yeah, he's still behind Quiet Cake, and there's not many other battles going on. Maybe Wayne Morris is battling Jenneth Lee for that last couple of points there down the bottom, but it looks like it may play out.
Back up the front, Wild is going to cross the line. Great performance from Not iWilds. He takes the win in Bahrain for Tier 4 for Ferrari. And Juice ML will come behind him in Mercedes for 2nd place. And then you got Alan Santa. He's going to close in that championship gap to Trenner after this takes P3. And Quiet Cake holds on for P4 over A-Dog. Nothing in it between them in the end. And Trenner will take P6 with SJ getting P7. Swiss Lord will finish P8, depending on penalties. Bridgie takes P9. Rusted Cyborg will round out the top 10, and Paddy just behind him P11. Unfortunate for him to miss out on the top 10 finish. And you got the two halves of Jennifer Lee and Batman. I missed the rest of the results. We'll get them up very shortly.
Yeah, well called at the end there. Santa, I'm just on board with Santa. He's got that little bit of mistletoe on top of his helmet. It's a nice little tribute there. Yeah, that was a tremendous race. It was pretty surprising to see the reserves up there in P1 and P2, but that's the way it goes. They pull it off with the strategy, and you've got to give credit to those boys. Amazing race from those two, and Santa sneaking on for that podium in P3. Of course, we saw Trenner get caught up when he went to the back of Santa, who was following his teammate Swiss Lord at turn 10, and just looked a bit unfortunate for those drivers, and Santa looked to get away from that incident the best, you'd have to say, and Trenner fought really hardly with SJ, trying to make his way up through the positions there, trying to get as many points, scrambling for Aston Martin at the end. So look, I'll get these boys into comms, and we'll get these photos taken as well. Make sure we get this done for Ducat to get all these points. But yeah, it was a pretty good race, T8. Yeah, what was your highlight, mate?
Well, there's plenty of highlights after tonight. There was a lot of clean racing. There was a lot of not so clean racing, unfortunately. But overall, it was a pretty entertaining race from the boys this Friday evening. I'm quite impressed by everyone. They've all put their heart and soul into this race, which is great to see. It goes without saying, Don Moore took the fastest lap with a 1 minute 32.0, so that'll give him a few extra points to his championship total. But the star of the night is not Wildsy. After many moons away from the racing scene, takes a win in Ferrari. Max Jr. will be over the moon with that result. And same with Broccolilli with the reserve of Juice putting on a good P2, and Alain Santa with P3. I'm not too sure how that looks for the standings because Trenner got P6, but whatever the gap was coming into tonight, it's definitely much, much smaller.
Yeah, I'd imagine Santa's going to move into P1 with that one, but we'll wait and see for the confirmation. If you wouldn't mind just going through the incidents, just scrolling through those screens for me to catch the pens for Ducat, that'd be tremendous. I'll just get these guys in here so we can have a bit of an interview. So we'll get Santa, obviously, and then we'll get Not I Wilds, the race winner for Ferrari. What a tremendous drive. P2, of course. Juice.
Well, I'm currently stuck in the results screen. As soon as I can, I'll get out of that and go into the car showroom. That's what we like to show in the podium interviews.
Not a problem. Just trying to find Juice at the moment, then we'll get underway with these interviews.
Yeah, too easy. I think it was Quircake that got driver of the day for Alpine as well. So he's gone from 19th up to P4. That's a great result and good points all for the cake.
Well, we'll have to keep that in mind because we get to vote on driver of the day. So we'll go through that a little bit later. But
oh yeah, you're right.
I believe we have Santa in here. So Santa, you did end up with a podium at the end of that. Of course, you had a 3-second time penalty. I think you were P1 overall qualifying. There was an early safety car, and you decided to stay out. I think it was Not I Wilds and Juice with the couple of cars behind you there, and they decided to pit and box. It looked to be the preferred strategy to pit early on that safety car. You decided to stay out and had to work your way through the field. I think you were following your teammate there, and Trenner may have had a bit of contact with you going into turn 10, so that was a bit of an unfortunate sequence of events, but overall you battled really hard to secure that podium. Are you very happy with that drive tonight, mate?
Oh yeah, nothing to say anymore. I think you say all my race. Oh, it was really nice. I'm happy. I'm really happy. It was a hard race. A lot of stuff happened on the track, but at the end, the podium, I'm happy.
Yeah, well done. Look, there was that. Yeah, mate, tremendous effort. Very happy, and I think that'll actually put you into P1 in the overall standings. because Trenner actually, I think he finished P6 overall. So we'll wait and see the results come out, but provisionally I think you're back on top. So it's 1 week after the other, just changing positions there with you and Trenner. So it's a really great battle and one that has been thoroughly enjoyable. Look, I just want to highlight that that incident with Trenner there. You were following your teammate. I imagine you were in comms with Swissy, and did he get a bit of too much curve coming out of turn 10, and did you have to slow up, and that why there was a bit of a chain reaction behind you there?
I'm not sure if it took a curve, but the problem is like I was behind Swiss Lord and he was behind Wayne, I guess, and so he was all in the train. It was a little bit slow in that corner, and then I guess Trent come a little bit too fast there. But I don't want to judge. I'm not here to judge. It's just what I think now.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. I'm sure it'll all come out in the stewards. Yeah, look, we've got T8 in here. Did you want to ask Santa any questions while you're here, mate?
Yeah, look, good race with you there, Santa. You can't go wrong for a P3, and as Bryce have mentioned, you may have possibly put yourself in the championship lead at the end of this race. So, what's your thoughts for the rest of the season, and how do you think it's all going to play out for you?
I think you can say nothing. Like Joseph said before, it's changing every week. Like you see in the qualifying train of me, it was 0.02 different between us or something. It's too close to say anything, you know, like we have to wait. It's a long season, and at the end we count.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, we saw Cuds, who had a pretty rough night in P16. He was P4 overall, so that's going to hurt his chances. And Clyde Cake, who was P3 overall in the standings, he got a P4, so he's not letting you and Trenner get away at all. So I'm sure the team principal lads will be happy that he's hanging on there. Look, Santa, congratulations again on another podium.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, mate, you've had an outstanding season for AlphaTauri. Stoked to have you as part of the team, and look forward to seeing you out there next weekend, mate.
Thank you, brother. See you next week. Have a good
Beautiful.
one. Thank you for everybody to rest today.
Thanks, Santa. All right, credit to you. Now we've got, I believe we've got Juice in here, the reserve for Mercedes tonight, who he had an outstanding race, you've got to say, finishing P2. Juice, where did you actually qualify? Let me see. I think P3 overall, and it was right at the death there. I think you went up from P4 to P3 with your final qualifying lap. So, I mean, you set the standard there for yourself with tremendous qualifying, and you pulled the trigger on that early safety car in one of those hards, and you went long and you got P2. So, mate, run us through your race.
Yeah, you explained it pretty well there. My qualifying was pretty good. You know, put myself into P3, which is pretty good considering it's a pretty quick grid you've got here in this division. So I was happy to put myself on the second row, and yeah, decided to pull the trigger on the early pit stop, the free pit stop under that first safety car, which, you know, it was a good idea at the time. You know, I managed to you know, work my way through, and the people that did pit later on got stuck in a bit of traffic. By the end of the race, my tyres were on fire. I was very you know, cautious, and I thought I was going to get a puncture there at the end, but managed to keep it on the track and managed to not puncture and come home with a P2 for Mercedes. So I'm happy to give some points to them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure the team principal, Brock Lilly, will be stoked as well. I think Mercedes really needed the points they can get. Look, you mentioned those tyres were really wearing off at the end and you were fighting off a puncture. Do you remember what percentage they actually got up to? Because Santa, who was in P3 and chasing as hard as he could on much fresher tyres, he wasn't really making much of an inroad on that gap there. I was keeping an eye on it. So you must have handled those hards very well at the end, mate.
Yeah, so I started to notice that they were really fading off with probably maybe 4 or 5 laps to go. I had a decent gap to Santa in P2. I think I was like 8 seconds ahead plus the 3-second penalties that he had. So I knew that I could let off, and so he gained some time in those last 5 laps. I think my left rear ended on about 84%. So yeah, if I had to push a little bit harder, I probably would have got a puncture. But luckily, I was able to, you know, get a decent gap to him behind, and I was able to hold him off for as long as I needed to. And yeah, got home and got some points for Mercedes, which I'm happy for.
Fantastic, mate. Well, T8, did you want to add anything for Juice while we've got him here?
No, look, personally for me, this is the first time of having the privilege to watch you induce race, and you certainly did disappoint, that's for sure. So, good congratulations, buddy. I'm sure we'll see you back out there real soon. And great result. Maybe we'll see you in P1 next time, mate.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, the last couple of races I've had when I'm reserving, I've had some internet issues, which was disappointing because I qualified well around Portugal, and I forget the other one where I lagged out as well. So I was really disappointed that I couldn't. Singapore last week. I couldn't finish where I wanted to in those races. So it was really pleasing that I could stick it out, and I've got the pace. So P2 I was happy with, and yeah, I appreciate the compliments.
Yeah, you bounced back very well, mate, and put on a solid display of racing. So I'm sure any team principals would want to see you reserve for them moving forward. So good luck. Hopefully you get another seat rather soon, and we'll see you out there. We'll see you out there soon, mate.
Too easy, gents. Thanks for your time.
All right, T8, if you want to take this one away with Not I Wilds, and I'll jump in with a question at the end.
Of course I can. Yeah, Wilds, mate, it's good to see you back, brother. Fair bit of time away for yourself, but you've come back and made a good name for yourself. You've gone out and taken the win in Bahrain this evening, so talk us through the race and, yeah, just how you felt about it. Well, you made the right strategy call. I believe you pitted around the lap 6, maybe lap 7 or 8 mark in one of the safety cars, and look, that just proved to work for yourself and Jushu, who got P2. So look, just able to right place, right time, and got the car home in one piece, and that's given you a great result for, I guess, your bragging rights as a reserve, but also for Ferrari. I'm sure the team principal of Mash Junior will be very happy with your performance tonight, and I'm sure Wilds has put a lot of team principals on notice for potential full-time seats later down the track.
I try my best, but I struggled with quality. So
What did you qualify? Wilds? P8. Yeah, that's not too bad, but yeah, I think what really worked in your favour was the pit stop with the safety car coming out and going along on those hards. That really gave you the edge. You'd have to say.
Yeah, I kept on getting called in for softs. I was like, nope.
Oh, your engineer was telling you to come in for the softs, was he?
Yeah, they were trying to do a Ferrari.
Yeah, you just got to listen to that moron and just trust your instinct and go with that. So, yeah, congratulations, mate, to get a race win as a reserve. Yeah, it just speaks volumes about the quality of the driver you are. So, congratulations. It's good to see you back on track. We haven't seen you for a while, like T8 said, and hopefully you'll be back on track and reserving soon for us. And, well, yeah, hopefully it's as soon as next week in Abu Dhabi, mate.
It's another good track I'm at, so.
Beautiful.
Good track, so.
All right, mate. Well, thanks again and congratulations, and shout out to Ferrari. Yeah, well done. All right, T8. That's going to wrap up Tier 4, Round 7. Yeah, amazing race here at Bahrain. Yeah, a couple of reserve drivers snatching the majority of their points, and, of course, Santa getting that P3. So I think we're going to see a little bit coming out in the stewards room, a few incidents, but, that's what happens in F1 racing. But overall, I thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable race, and just want to thank you for joining me here in comms tonight. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
Oh, well, thanks for having me. I thought it was a pretty good night of racing. I don't get the chance to jump in the Inter's comms box too often, but when I do, it's always a good time. And look, I'm glad it was tonight because it's a really good race. Hopefully everyone that was watching along on the stream enjoyed it. There's Tier 4 putting on the good action as always. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of these drivers will walk away quite happy with their results tonight. As you said, I think there'll be a couple of reports, but shit happens, I suppose. But look, we move forward and ready for next round.
No doubt about it. So yeah, just a quick shout out to Quiet Cake and A-Dog SJ, Swiss Lord, Bridgie, Rusted Cyborg, Paddy, and Jenneth Lee, even Batman and Wayne. Those guys were really battling hard out there tonight, and yeah, that was about P4 to P14. So yeah, we saw some great racing. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. We're going to have Tier 3, of course, tomorrow. The boys are going to be going at it at 4 p.m. And then we've got Tier 2 at 8 p.m. for Inters Racing League. And, of course, Tier 1 on Sunday with Martin Brundle and myself. And, yeah, we can't wait to bring it all to you. It's been a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Peace.